practice that follows will be about 15 minutes long, I think. So, and I thought we would carry on with the idea of just coming into contact with our body. So the first foundation of mindfulness is our body, having a sense and awareness of what's happening here. And our body is the first point of call, usually, before we even realise what's going on inside our head or our thoughts. And it comes from that idea, really, that more butterflies in our tummy, or a tight heart, or a headache. We often feel physical sensations or symptoms before we actually realise that there is something going on externally or something's happening to us outside. And tight hands, you know, we can start to feel them when we have anger rising or tension, or a tight hand will often show us or give us a clue to what we're feeling even before we can start to intellectualise it. So bringing our attention to our bodies, sensations in our body is never a waste of time. And it's the beginning to a sense of awareness, a sense of being healthy, a sense of knowing when to stop, knowing when to continue. And it's that idea of where conscious decisions start to become very relevant. So just coming to a place where you're comfortable, so you can lie down on your mat or on a blanket or something, you know, that keeps you warm, or you can sitting on a block or on a chair, however feels right for you. And if there's anything that I say that doesn't feel okay, then obviously you override that with that whole sense of what feels right for you. So your hands can be resting either down by your side if you're lying down, or in your lap. Like my habit is always to have one hand on top of the other resting on my lap. So it's whatever feels right for you. Closing the eyes. And then just taking 3 deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and letting your breath go. And just one more if you're at that stage. And then just letting your breath be, just as it is, not changing it, not manipulating. And just come into that knowledge, understanding quite quickly that your body knows how to breathe. You can change it if you like, but ultimately health comes, nourishment comes from just knowing. And in that knowing, in that stillness, there's rest. And that's how we heal. That's how we find calm, peace, safety. And as you breathe, just being aware of how your body is right now, the contact you feel, the perception of contact you feel or have with the floor beneath, whether you're lying or whether you're sitting. Areas of weight or heaviness, areas of lightness, parts of your body that might feel quite cool or quite warm. There might be tingling somewhere, or the urge to move, the impulse to fidget. And can we slow those impulses down to the extent that we just learn to notice without having to act or react? So we train ourselves to respond, and as all these practices ultimately give us that ability to decide whether to respond, to let go, to hold on, to stop. So just for a few moments more, just being with your breath, knowing that your mind wanders away, all our minds wander away. And we just learn to bring it back. Now taking your attention to your hands, just bringing your right palm onto your right thigh and your left palm onto your left thigh. And then just feeling the weight of your hands. You might come into contact, perhaps if you've got a shoulder injury, there might be something uncomfortable in your shoulder or your elbows. But just allowing the weight of your hands to rest on your thighs. And just feeling that connection, almost as though you don't know where one hand starts and the thigh begins. The feeling of the fabric if you're wearing trousers. the feeling of your skin, the palms of the hand, the tips of the fingers. You might even be able to feel the weight of your nails. If you're wearing rings, weight, and the feel of the metal. And just every now and again, just returning to your breath, just reconnecting to the feeling of your breath, and being with your body as you are right now, safe, quiet, warm, focused. And taking your attention to your right hand, just feeling everything about that right hand, the fingers, the thumb, the space perhaps in the palm of the hand, the weight of your wrists. And ever so carefully, just lift the right hand up, just a few centimetres away from the thigh. And ever so carefully, turn the palm upwards. Just notice how your shoulder feels, how your arm feels, how the elbow feels, the weight of that arm. There might be tingling in the fingertips. Imagine the space now that you can hold in the palm of your hand, the lightness of your breath. And now just turn the palm so the fingertips or the little finger is facing down and the thumb is facing up. And then just bring the hand just so it's forward, so more or less in line with the centre of your chest or your heart. And then take your attention to your left hand, the left palm that's resting on your thigh. And ever so carefully, just lift your left hand up, away from your leg, and be aware of the space between your left palm and the thigh. Maybe that sense of separation or loss. Being with those feelings, that sensation or experience, and ever so carefully turn the left palm up. So you rotate through the wrist, you feel that through the elbow. What happens in your shoulder? Something in your breath change. And just feel the space in the palm of the left hand. You can hold ever so carefully. And just lift the left palm up a little bit more and then just turn. So the little finger is facing down and the thumb is facing up, and just bring it towards the right hand. So they're just not touching, just a little bit closer, just in front of your chest. So now perhaps with eyes closed, can you feel the connection between the palms? They're not touching, but there might be warmth, energy, vibrations even. And all your focus and attention is just on your hands, the space between your hands, and the feeling that you feel. And then with care and attention, just bring your right palm to rest, just above your heart or on your heart, on your chest. Feel that connection and stop. And then with care, kindness, just bring your left hand or left palm to rest on top of the right, just above your chest. And now you just feel the connection of your hands resting on the upper part of your chest, perhaps just above your heart. And what do you feel? The sensations in your body, the sensations in your hands. And you just breathe with all these things that are happening now. Everything around us is continuing, but we, you, us, me, have just chosen to be here, giving ourselves permission to feel what we feel. Practice. And then with care, we're just going to take the left hand away and just back in front of the chest. Then the right arm or right hand away and just back in front of the chest. The palms just facing forward, the elbows are bent, the shoulders are rested. And again, just focusing again on the space between the palms of your hands. Take the hands a little bit further apart. Is there warmth or tingling? Bring the hands a little bit closer, but not touching. Not touching. How close can you go before the hands actually touch? Being aware of the space between. They get warmer as the hands come in closer contact to each other. And then take the hands a little bit further apart. Turn the palms up and give the energy away. And then turn the palms down. And ever so carefully bring your hands, the palms of the hands, back to where you started. So right hand rests on the right thigh, left hand rests on the left thigh. And you just feel that contact. And there's nothing else to do. We're not necessarily trying to gain anything from such a practice. We're just trying to feel what's going on in our body. When we slow down, to find an understanding of what's happening in our body, when we give ourselves permission to slow down, to stop, but be awake. And it's with that idea that when we stop, we feel more. When we close our eyes, we really see. So now just bringing your hands back to where you started. So if the hands are in the palm of the lap, or in the palms are in your lap, or if your arms are resting down by your side, wherever they were, just kind of bringing your hands back to where you started. And bring your attention back to your breathing. And just notice as well, when we stop focusing very much on our body, physical sensations, our mind wanders away very quickly. And just notice where your mind might wander to. So just track that initial impulse. Where does that thought come from? Just like where our movements come from. Where do our thoughts come from? And then just let it go. And just bring your attention back to your breath that comes in. Bring your attention back to your breath that leaves. And just for the last few moments of the practice, just be with your breathing. And if your mind wanders away, just notice where your mind is taking you to. And just like we can feel the perception of contact, the initial contact with our hands with each other, or our hands on our thighs, can we find that initial perception or impulse of that thought? Where does it come from? So we learn to trace everything back to its origin. And in doing so, we let it go. So we're not trying to hide from anything. We're not trying to block anything. We're just allowing it to be just as it is. And ultimately, eventually, welcoming those thoughts, allowing them in with a smile, and allowing them to leave with a smile. Because deep inside, in a place that we all have, there's quiet, there's peace, and there's rest. And we find that through at first perception of our body, experiencing our body just as it is, feeling our breath just as it is, with no thought of gain or loss, but just an awareness of this moment and this moment and this moment. So as we begin the process of coming out of the practice, taking your attention again to your body, the parts of the body that are in contact with the floor, the parts that might feel a little bit more heavier than others, knowing that our attention is usually drawn to those places that aren't particularly comfortable, but knowing there's whole other parts of you that are comfortable. So as you gradually just start to move your fingers, perhaps move your toes, you can roll your shoulders, those kind of things. Just taking your time, always with the idea that it is your time. Just feeling what you feel and just knowing that there is within you and within us all that deep inner wish just to be happy, to be calm, to be quiet. So whatever you're feeling right now, notice, acknowledge what you're feeling right now. If there is quietness and calm, allow those feelings to land, to rest within you. Because they know with that deep inner knowledge that peace or that quietness does stay within you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And just opening your eyes when you're ready, or just choosing to rest for a little bit longer. And just knowing that whatever you choose to do for the rest of the day, deep inside you resides that place of rest, quiet and calm. Thank you.